And we back like we never left. I'm Live Zone, and as always, I'll let you introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? It's Mozzie back with you. Another week, more football. I'm excited. I'm ready to get into it.
How's it going, everybody? It's Paul. I'm back again. Thank you for having me.
So, Mozzie, let us know what we're getting into this week. What are we talking about, and where are we going first?
Yeah, so this past weekend, we had 4 new playoff games in the NFL. We had some great matchups and some great games. We're going to first start off by going into each game individually. We're going to start out with the lock that everybody had on here with the winner, the Detroit Lions. Detroit versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a much closer game than I personally thought it was going to be. Came down to the wire. Lions with a clutch, crucial, amazing interception to seal the deal there. 31-23, the final score. Little controversy on the Bucs not calling a timeout with 39 seconds left and the Lions being at third down. Live Zone, I want to pass it over to you and find out, what do you think about the call not going with the timeout? What did you like from the Lions? What did you like from the Bucs? Baker Mayfield showing out. What did you think of the game overall?
I thought that it was really close compared to what we thought it was going to be. You know, at the beginning of the NFL playoffs, we came into this division and saying that the Bucs or the Atlanta Falcons or whoever won this division was not going to make any noise. Baker Mayfield doing his thing, proving people wrong like he has been doing since he came into the league. I gotta say that, you know, the Bucs found their second quarterback right behind Tom Brady, a guy that they can look to when they need to score or when they need, you know, a quick first down or whatever. He's your guy. He's the one that is bringing you to the playoffs right now. He is the clear leader of this team. So I do like that from Baker Mayfield. From the Detroit Lions, I do like that they won, but do I like how they won? I don't necessarily like how close it was. I see the Detroit Lions playing down more and more and more every week, and I don't know how I feel about it. Thank God that they woke up in the second half, but for me, I want to see more intensity from the Detroit Lions.
Absolutely. Little worrisome from the Lions game myself, seeing they're not playing with the ferociousness they need to. They're not playing with the hunger that I've seen from them. They are playing down to their competition a little bit, but they did squeak out the win against Tampa Bay. Paul, want to hop over, see what you're thinking about how Detroit won the game, how Tampa proved or didn't prove, what Baker Mayfield proved or didn't prove. What do you take away from this game?
My takeaway is, first off, I want to say I'm happy that the Detroit Lions won. It's great for that organization and that fan base, players entirely. As far as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go, I personally did not think the Buccaneers would last this long in the postseason. So I do think if I was a Buccaneers fan, that I would be happy for that team. Of course, not too happy for the outcome, but happy for how far they've made it into this postseason. A lot of people weren't believing in Baker Mayfield, and I think Baker Mayfield is here to stay in Tampa Bay. And I think moving forward, they're going to continue to be that quiet team during the regular season and then come out into the postseason making a lot of noise, proving everyone wrong. As far as the Detroit Lions go, like I said, I'm happy they won. But with the way they won, no, like you guys both said, they need to come out with some more hunger, some more confidence. They have a big game coming up this Sunday against the 49ers, and they definitely got to prepare hard for that because that's going to be the hardest matchup this postseason, in my opinion.
Now, do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as they stand with Baker Mayfield, would rather have Baker Mayfield right now than a draft pick in this quarterback class, or are you sticking with Baker Mayfield?
I'm sticking with Baker Mayfield. I'm sticking with him.
Live Zone?
I mean, I completely agree with Paul. Seeing what Baker Mayfield has been doing with this team that looked lost in the offseason. I mean, he really got Mike Evans and everybody else up off their feet and carried them to the playoffs. So for me, I'm sticking with Baker Mayfield if I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Looks like some good years to come, possibly for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not this year. Out by the Lions. Lions moving on to face San Fran. We had another game, speaking of San Fran, in the NFC. We are looking at the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers game, a game that was very, very close. The Packers pretty much giving this one away to San Fran. San Fran hanging on for dear life, but getting the victory in the end. Jordan Love balling out, Brock Purdy playing well. It just came down to some crucial plays. And Paul, what did you see from Green Bay in this game that has you hopeful for their future? And what did you see from San Fran that you like them in the next round against Detroit?
With the Green Bay Packers, when I look at that team, I see a lot of young, hungry guys, and that's starting with Jordan Love. I think he's here to stay in that organization for a very long time. I don't think he proved himself to stay with that organization and for that organization to trust him as their starting quarterback. But as far as proving himself like entirely, he still got some work to do. He's got to win a couple more games. 49ers, I'm glad they came out on top, but they're the team who has something to prove. They're the team in the NFC who needs to come over that hump they've been missing the past couple times, the past couple seasons, and they got to come out with a win over the Lions to keep that organization structured.
Absolutely. A lot of pressure on the 49ers coming up in this next game against Detroit. Live zone, the only one to pick the Packers here. Had them beating the Niners, they only lose by a field goal. What went wrong for the Packers in this game? What don't you like from San Fran after this game being so close?
I mean, this is the exact reason why I picked the Green Bay Packers is because of how close that they play their games. If you give them 5 minutes to run down the field and score, they're going to do that. San Francisco did a very good job not letting that happen. They could have scored when it was 3 minutes left, which would have probably tied the game for Green Bay at the end, but they only let 1 minute down to the clock for Green Bay to score. Jordan Love threw a bad pick the same way that Brett Favre did when he was part of the Minnesota Vikings. Across the field throw isn't really what you want to do in a clutch situation like that. But one thing I do want to say is that this is what I'm liking from Jordan Love. 21 of 34, 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions, but who wouldn't against the best defense in the league? And then after that, if you look at Brock Purdy, 23 of 39 for 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, which is why I think that the San Francisco 49ers ended up winning this game. Jordan Love couldn't control his picks, and Brock Purdy could, and that's what ended up being the game changer. And you notice how I said that for Cam Newton out there, game changer, because that's what Brock Purdy and Jordan Love both are, something that he was not. But good win on the 49ers. I didn't see him squeaking it out, but they ended up doing it. And now they have to go against my favorite to take the Super Bowl this year. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Detroit and San Fran are going to be a great one. 20 minutes down the road from me. Ticket prices a cool $5.50 for nosebleeds. So I don't think I'm making it out there this year, but should be a good one. I'll be chilling watching it on my TV, no doubt. Moving forward, we had AFC matchups as well over the weekend. We're looking at the Houston Texans visiting the Baltimore Ravens in a game that I personally thought would have been a lot closer. I had the Houston Texans coming out on top. They did not make that happen. First half, I thought there was a chance. Very even matchup. Everything down the line, stats, yards, everything was even, and the Ravens just ran away with it in the second half. Lamar literally running for a touchdown. Live zone. Baltimore looks scary this year. They look like they got it all together. It looks like a running quarterback mainly, and then a passer second might be in the Super Bowl. Do you like their chances moving forward? What didn't you see out of CJ Stroud in this game that we had seen prior to this? What were your thoughts on the game?
Well, he looked like he saw a ghost against the best defense in the AFC. That's what it comes down to. 0 touchdowns in a playoff game isn't going to get it done. But I don't hate on that because he is a rookie quarterback. He shouldn't have even been in the position that he was in to begin with because of the teams that he was going against in the playoffs. But he somehow made it there, so I give him props for even going this far in the playoffs with this very young Houston Texans team. Um, but, at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson is just different. All right. Like 16 for 22, 152 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Right. Then we look over to his rushing yards. He had 11 attempts for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and, his longest was 23 yards. I'm looking at this team and I'm saying, it should have came down to Buffalo going against the Baltimore Ravens because it was both their year to prove something. But we're going to watch Lamar Jackson eat up the Kansas City Chiefs defense next week, and it's not even going to be close because of the level that Lamar is on that everybody else is not. So for me, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Baltimore Ravens, defensive-wise, offensive-wise. I mean, they don't even have Mark Andrews and likely he he had 3 targets for 34 yards and he had a touchdown. That's what you need from one of your tight ends right now, especially with your quarterback only throwing 152 yards. Just overall, I like what I'm seeing from Baltimore, and they look very dangerous right now.
Baltimore did look like a well-oiled machine. Lamar doing Lamar things. Moving on. I got some questions about the Chiefs and the Ravens matchup that I'm going to save, though, because not too fast. It's still Patrick Mahomes' team. Paul, what did you see from Baltimore that has you possibly liking them to go all the way to the Super Bowl? What did you see out of CJ Stroud this year? What didn't you see out of him in that game? What did you think of the game?
What I see in the Ravens, I see winning mentality 100%. They have been in that slump in the AFC for I don't know how many seasons, ever since Lamar's been drafted, he's been trying to prove himself that he is one of the best quarterbacks in this league, and he deserves to win a Super Bowl. I want Lamar Jackson to win this year's Super Bowl. I really love that Ravens offense and defense. They got weapons on both sides. As far as CJ Stroud and the Texans, I'm very happy for the kid of this type of season he had this year. As a rookie coming in, he flipped that organization upside down, brought them right back to the playoffs, and proved himself that if not the best ever rookie, he's very high up there on that list of best rookie to come into the league. But no touchdowns offensively in that playoff. It might just be a lack of confidence for him or no experience. But coming in next year for the Houston Texans, watch out for them because they're coming in. He's hungry to win.
Yeah, CJ Stroud has a little pressure maybe coming in next year from Texans fans. Maybe still chip on his shoulder and whatnot, but great rookie year, great campaign. Maybe a little beginner's luck in the playoffs for the first round win and ran into what a real team is come playoff time. Hopefully he'll be there for years to come. I really hope so. I love his talent and love what he brings to the NFL. As for Baltimore, Lamar, again, just doing Lamar things. They look like a well-oiled machine. They look like they're going to run through everybody, but it is the playoffs, so we never know. Things from one week can always be different to the next. Final matchup that we had on Sunday was a beauty. It lived up to every bit of the hype. The game was great. Back and forth, score for score, coming down the wire. Live Zone and Paul both going with the Bills on this one. Mozzie going with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes coming out with the win like he normally does against this Buffalo team. Josh Allen tried to lose the game, but Tyler Bass ultimately ended up costing them the game at the end. Josh Allen fumbling a few plays before that, but recovering. The death threats to Tyler Bass, by the way, I don't condone at all. The man's just doing a job out there. Quit doing all that. Buffalo, you're better than that. There are some good people in Buffalo that donated a bunch of money to one of his charities for cats or whatever. So shout out to those people, but stop sending death threats. With that being said, Live Zone, the Bills, another year short of what they needed to get to. When I've seen so many different takes on this over the past couple of days, but I need to know, when do we stop making excuses for Josh Allen and putting him here when he really comes here come playoff time?
Well, Josh Allen did do his thing. I will say that. He had 186 yards for 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He almost fumbled, but he recovered, so he got that back. But this is where I look at Josh
He also
Allen.
almost threw the interception that
Yeah,
the Chiefs
yeah,
player broke up.
yeah. So this is what I'm looking at for Josh Allen. 26 of 39. That is awful. That when it comes down to it, that can't happen with you being a franchise quarterback. We always talk about how Josh Allen, which side of him are we going to see? Are we going to see the Josh Allen that gets the job done, the prototype of a quarterback, or are we going to see the Josh Allen that makes mistake after mistake after mistake? And that's what we saw. That's what it comes down to. Mistake after mistake. And it didn't even have to be big mistakes. It was little mistakes. But you had too many of them to come back from. That was the problem for the Buffalo Bills. It shouldn't have even came down to the field goal because you had 39 attempts and you only completed 26 of them. So when it comes down to it, the ratio is there for Josh Allen. I see what you're saying. But, at the end of the day, the reason why that this game went the way it did is, we talked about it this season, the wide receivers on the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Travis Kelce, 6 targets, 5 receptions, right? Then after that, Scantling, 4 targets, 2 receptions. Rashee Rice, 4 receptions, 4 targets, right? And then after that, we keep on going down and down and down. And, what I'm seeing is that the players that are on the Kansas City Chiefs are finally catching the ball, and that's what's making a difference for this Kansas City team. And not even just that, something that we haven't seen a lot this year is Isaiah Pacheco having a great, great game. Like, yes, he usually has like that mediocre game that gets them the win, but 15 attempts for 97 yards with 1 touchdown and his longest carry being 29 yards. That's insane. That's what you need from Isaiah Pacheco. That's what we need to see more of. As AFC team fan with the New England Patriots or any AFC team that's not the Kansas City Chiefs, that's the guy that I'm worried about coming into the Kansas City locker room and all that stuff. Is I'm worried about how are we going to stop Isaiah Pacheco? We know how to stop their receivers. We know how to limit their receivers. But when it comes down to it, Isaiah Pacheco is the guy you need to stop in Kansas City.
Again, Josh Allen just not getting it done come playoff time is the story again for Bills fans. Paul, I'm bringing the questions over to you now. Josh Allen coming up short. Is this a testament to Josh Allen not showing up or how good Patrick Mahomes really is come playoffs?
I honestly think it's a little bit of both, but more on this side of Patrick Mahomes of how good he is come playoffs. Because look at the past 6 seasons. Correct me if I'm wrong, but since he's been a rookie, he's made it to the NFC Championship. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's more of how Patrick Mahomes is playing in the playoffs. Because Josh Allen, look, he is a franchise quarterback. He's got the pieces around him, but he falls short every single year. Next season, I see them making the divisional round, if not the AFC Championship. But he's got to get over that hump. I don't know what it takes. He is not Patrick Mahomes, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the Chiefs have hosted the past 7 AFC championships in the league. in the league. For the past 7
Yep.
years, it's gone through Kansas City, and now it's going through Baltimore this year. Live Zone, what's going on?
I just want to say one more thing for all the people that are trying to be like ESPN and comparing the Patrick Mahomes to Josh Allen to Tom Brady and Peyton Manning need to stop. Josh Allen is no Peyton Manning, and I'm sorry, but Patrick Mahomes, until he has more than 5 rings, he's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, and Peyton Manning is right there at number 2. And I don't see even Patrick Mahomes living up to Peyton Manning's potential and everything like that. So to everybody that's trying to be like ESPN and say that Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes is Peyton Manning versus Brady, they got to stop with that.
I respect the take, but on the Patrick Mahomes and Peyton Manning one, if you put Patrick Mahomes' resume in front of me right now with the rest of his career left and put Peyton Manning's full career in front of me, I think I'm going with Patrick Mahomes right now.
Yeah, and if Peyton Manning wasn't in the same era as Brady, you wouldn't be, though. That's the problem.
Okay. Maybe a live 5 discussion coming up here soon about that one. We'll leave it be for now. We're going to be moving over to the next point on the extra point, and that's going to be the predictions for next week. This coming Sunday, NFL Conference Championships, AFC and NFC. We got the matchups. It's Ravens, it's Chiefs, it's 49ers, it's Lions. We're going to look at the NFC first. So, right down the street, 49ers welcoming the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions, what a year. Happy with where they're at regardless, but they're thinking Super Bowl. Niners, been here, done that 4 times in the past 5 years. What's going to happen this time? Who knows? Live Zone. In Santa Clara, Detroit or San Fran? Who do you like?
You know, part of me is just saying that Detroit is not going to get it done as much as I want them to. But you know, I'm still gonna ride with it. I'm still going to say that the Detroit Lions are going to take this game and go to the Super Bowl.
Good pick. Good pick, Paul. I bring the same question to the table for you. Detroit in Santa Clara, California, playing the 49ers. Who do you have winning this game and moving on to the Super Bowl?
I have the San Francisco 49ers moving on to the Super Bowl. I want the Detroit Lions to move on to the Super Bowl. So, Detroit, prove me wrong, please. But, the Detroit Lions coming out west to San Fran, I don't think they're going to get the job done. I believe it will be a very close game. I want to say my prediction will be 34-28 San Fran. Close game, high scoring, But if the game wasn't Detroit, I'd be taking Detroit.
Who's the
I'm
X factor
saying
for you for San Fran in this game?
Christian McCaffrey.
Copy that. Live Zone. What was your
yep.
score on the game?
I'm gonna say 17-27. And if it for my X factor, I could give you 2 X factors because I could see the San Francisco 49ers win this game. But my X factors are going to be David Montgomery or George Kittle.
If you know me, I'm a ride or die. I'm going down with the ship. It's the Detroit Lions all day for me. I don't care if there's San Francisco 49ers fans right next door to me. I picked Detroit. Okay? I picked Detroit. Detroit's going to make it to the Super Bowl for the first time ever. Okay? And they're going to win for the first time ever. That's the bottom line. It's their year. It's the writing's on the wall. Detroit, make it happen. I will cry if they fumble or a referee takes this game away from Detroit, I will cry tears. So please just let them play football this weekend and let the best team win the game. That's all I ask. But the Detroit Lions will win this game 28-24.
Okay. I respect it. Who's your X factor?
My X factor in the game is the game changer, Jared
Jared
Goff.
Goff. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Jared Goff.
Yeah, I listen, I want Detroit to win. I just think that, David Montgomery is going to be an important part to the offense this week. If they do win, I think it could go one of two ways. It could go a running back game where if it is a running back game, David Montgomery will take the win for it. But if the 49ers do win, I think that George Kittle is the reason why.
It is going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be watching, that's for sure. I cannot wait. We have another game as well. The Baltimore Ravens are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs, and for the first time in 7 years, this game is not being played at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, and I'm all for it. But the Chiefs are still in the game. So what does that tell you? They're still good. They're still coming. Patrick Mahomes is still on the team. Lamar Jackson looking like Superman and looking like he has the team that can win it all. Looks like the favorite out there. Paul, I want to know, Kansas City going into Baltimore, who do you like and why?
I like Baltimore and Baltimore. Kansas City, their dynasty is not over, but this year, I think we need a new team to win it, and I think the Ravens are going to give them one. It's going to be a close one in Baltimore, with the Chiefs being on the road for the first time in the playoffs. It's definitely going to weigh a little bit on them, but not too much. At the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs are the Kansas City Chiefs. But with that being said, I have the Baltimore Ravens winning 28-24 on top.
Baltimore getting the win in Paul's book. Live Zone. I heard some questionable comments earlier that lead me to believe you think this might be a blowout by the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know, but let's hear what you have to say about the Kansas City Chiefs going to Baltimore. Sorry for some technical difficulties here with Paul's connection. We're going to finish the rest of the episode out without him. That being said, Live Zone, I'm going to ask you the question again here. Kansas City Chiefs visiting Baltimore in Baltimore. Who do you have winning this game and making it to the Super Bowl?
So this one's a little bit of a hard one, but I think that the answer is clearly Baltimore. I think that they're on a different level right now. And honestly, they're the only team that I'm really scared for, in this playoffs, the rest of the playoffs that we got anyways. With the team that they have, it's just very unlikely that they don't make it to the Super Bowl. I have 42-31 victory for the Baltimore Ravens. High-scoring game, shootout. I don't see it being a landslide for the Baltimore Ravens. I see the Chiefs starting to come back late in the third quarter, but it just being too late, and I see that the Baltimore Ravens are going to go to the Super Bowl, with the X factor being, of course, Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely. It's the obvious pick, right? It's the pick that everybody sees. It's the one that's going to make it to the Super Bowl. It's got the colors written in on it on the logo. It's Lamar Jackson. It's the perfect story for the NFL, right?
Yeah, I would think so. But I don't see the 49ers making it. I do see that little colorway thing being burned into flames when the Detroit Lions beat the San Francisco 49ers.
I think when Detroit beats San Fran, it will too, as well as when the Chiefs beat the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, okay.
The
All
Chiefs are
right.
going to go into Baltimore this week and pull out a game that they should have no business winning. The reason I see this, I'm waiting for the flop job of Lamar, the one where he's off and what his team can do around him. I'm waiting for the game where the Baltimore defense is off and the opposing team is putting up points against them. I'm waiting for the game when the Kansas City Chiefs put 4 quarters together instead of 2 quarters together on defense and shut an offense down for a whole game. I'm ready for Patrick Mahomes to have a great game with his wide receivers and throw 3 or more touchdown passes and make this an easy Kansas City victory. I do think it's going to be close at the
Easy.
end, though. Saying easy in the fact that Patrick Mahomes is throwing for touchdowns, meaning Kansas City should definitely win the game. I'm thinking it's still going to be close in points, but I think it's the week where the Ravens and Lamar and everything just breaks down. They're looking too good, too scary. I worry. Patrick Mahomes just knows how to win, fresh off of Baltimore. Everybody keeps doubting him in this playoffs. They say he doesn't have enough. Doesn't have enough receivers to catch the ball. There's not enough this. Patrick Mahomes isn't this. Patrick Mahomes keeps winning. He still hasn't lost. So I don't know why we're still picking against him. At some point, you gotta land on the man. And if he makes it next week against Detroit, I'm picking Detroit. But as far as right now, I can't bet against the man. So give me the Chiefs in a 30-24 game where the Ravens
Okay.
don't score the game-winning touchdown and the Chiefs defense stands them up.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate it. I do agree with you. After last week, you can't count Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs out because when they're on their game, they're very hard to beat. But I just think with how hot Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have been all year, I really think that they're out for blood. And I think if you don't see the Detroit Lions on the other side, I think it's Baltimore's year.
There it is. There's our picks. That's what we got this week on the Extra Point for you. We hopefully are going to be back with amazing things to talk about next week. After watching this next week of playoff football, I'm excited. I got the weekend off, live zone. I hope you do too. I know
I
you're going
do.
to be checking into the games at least, so that's great. I'm just ready for great football and just please the refs, please just let them play. Let them play. Don't decide the game. That's all. Live zone. Anything for
Yep.
the people before we go?
Um, just blessed to see another year. As you know, if you know me, it was my birthday yesterday. So
Happy
yeah.
birthday, Live Zone.
But other than that, I mean, I'm just chilling, getting ready to watch some football and basketball and to give my takes for all of you guys that are watching. And I do want to say for all the people that are watching, thank you for all the support, and we'll catch you on Dynamics on the Hardwood.
As always, you guys are great. You're the reason why we do it. We do it because we love to do it, but also because you like to listen and give us your feedback. So, as always, stay tuned.